Welcome today to It's Bonsai, and we have a couple of azaleas that we're going to be working on. So they're in pretty rough condition. Well, one of them's in really rough condition. It's even got nice long bits of grass, dead and all that stuff hanging off of it. And the other one is just got a bunch of foliage falling off, and I mean, it's not ugly, but looks nice. Just they need some trims up and all that stuff. This one is one of my favorites, but as you can see, I let it go this year, but it has a wonderful nabari starting to develop, and maybe I'll be able to show that to you here on the in a little bit. Well, let's get to it. This one down out of the way. As I said before, this one's actually one of my favorite azaleas. It sits on my favorite rack, and she needs cleaned up. When they bloom in the springtime to, oh man, all the way through more than midsummer, almost to September, it's just pink canopy. But as you can see, this thing, that's no excuse. I mean, it's a great umbrella, but it's no excuse. So I'm going to be cutting away some of these larger branch pieces today. And its nabari is developing quite nicely. So I will throw in some more akadama, maybe a mix. What I love about these azaleas is that I don't have to go and cut or wire them. These ones I've been very fortunate with, that they have just turned into these wonderful umbrellas on their own. Let's see, this one will definitely end up needing leaning back in the future. Let's see. I think I might go with a semi-cascade over here. And again, maybe not. Like I said, it did do quite well this year, but it it really took off. I have to start learning to take pictures of this stuff during the off season when they just sit and look beautiful. Hopefully this channel will help me to do so. Nice little twig back there going on. A couple of branches going on. I might really is showing a difference in where the leaves are going. I might have to sit it out to where the sun makes it decide to climb for the light in a different direction. Right now everything's reaching out the front, which is the only direction the light comes at it in my favorite shelf system. So, I don't remember if I've tried saving some of these cuttings and getting them to work, but okay, so look at that Nabari right there, that root structure coming in. Get some of these pine needles away from there. I definitely have to get some more soil in here, substrate, so that it can get some more nutrients. But this one's Nabari is actually developing quite nicely, in my opinion. Which, I mean, I've only been bonsaiing for 4 years, so that opinion's not very strong. But you know, we'll see. Yeah. At some point in time, when this branch back here, when this wee little branch right here starts taking off better and strengthening, I'm going to end up having to cut this one off. I don't know, this year I may actually wire it a little bit. From what I understand, the year that you cut it, that year they won't bloom. But this is a pretty strong little plant. We'll see if it blooms next year or not. I mean, I do like that branch, but we'll see. It is quite a bit long. Yeah. Get one of my stronger implements. Looks like I've been making a bunch of tough decisions like that this year. Oh, okay. Just cut that out. Cut that out. Let's see. Sadly, it upsets me when I have to cut my azaleas, because they end up looking very diminished and not full of life when I first cut them. But like the second year, that's when all the new growth happens, and they just get this beautiful canopy and umbrella, and then with the blooms, they look really gorgeous. So but this one needs to, maybe I'll face it that way this year and have it all grow this way. Let's see if that. Well, at least that looks fake right there. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It's a great thing about bonsai. And that kind of more looks how light it is, a little bit more tropical, a little more northwest. Let's see if that's, maybe if I just take these out. You know what? It did look better. this one slowly go out that way towards the light. Yeah, hopefully. I think in the next episode I will show the starting point, because I am going to be making a couple of azaleas, for one for my aunt, one for my sister, that are just nursery stock, just waiting to be worked with. So yeah, I think I'll be done with that this year. I don't want to get rid of this big branch here because I kind of want it to separate out more, and maybe get some bud back on that section. We'll see. But yeah, for the most part, that's it for that little guy. Now this one looks gorgeous, and that's its normal front. It's got a lot of, this one I didn't even put moss in this one, and it just has a lot of moss. Again, doesn't take much in the Pacific Northwest, but secateurs are not for cutting moss, but they help as long as I don't cut my fingers. And I can see right now that this has been out in the sun and had such a good spot that it has got so much moss, man. And I'm not very familiar with the different kinds of mosses. I know there's some rug, some bush, some like, yeah, just all kinds of moss. I want to get it away from the root structure. So I want this one's root structure to come out and start looking really good. It's not doing that. Not yet. I need to keep this moss blanket away from the trunk. Okay, there we go. Oh, I actually have rocks in this setup. It's interesting. Never can remember the ones that I put rocks into it when the moss grows over them. But once again, I am not repotting this until spring or near spring. Number one, I can't afford so many pots. I do have a bunch that I've made my own, but I have to find some way to fire them. All right, now that's. I'll just put the rock back in where it was. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. So number one problem. That branch took off. It was a wee little thing before. Now that's a menace to society for a tree like this. And just go in and nip it. Believe it or not, these two were the same, from the same stock. I just kept one in a more shaded area with all my other favorite bonsais, and this one was left on my 21 rack, which is a rack of 21 bonsais. So they're nicely spaced, so they look nice. I might put a picture of that up here for you guys. But Yeah, well, maybe we'll just keep that rock out for now. It does not want to stay in there. Once again, as long as I don't cut all the foliage. Oh boy, that's an angry piece branch. There we go. Okay. On this side, it's pretty bald and sparse, but on this side is where the umbrella really shows off. Now, most of the time, the ideal look of a bonsai is a traditional pyramid or triangular shape, but I do like some of the. In fact, I love some that just look like umbrellas, just this nice round. And I suppose you can get that nice triangular shape by going with the two ends in the pot as your triangle, if it's more of a flat. But I mean, in and of itself, a half circle is kind of like a triangle, and it's still pleasing to the eyes. Let's see, do I want to get rid of that? This one has already been so nice that I'm not sure there's really much that I want to actually trim on it. Might end up repotting it at an angle. Might look better at an angle. Looks nice. This is all future ideas. Of course, underneath here I have roots and moss growing underneath the plant itself. Okay. Well, one thing I do know is that this is not particularly a good-looking branch right here. Young, but not particularly good-looking. Young and fast. All right. This one I want to keep. See if I can get some bud back to happen on that this year. Those down. Go for a little bit like that. This is still too young, but from my understanding of azaleas, is they end up making really good pads at length outside. So first, I want to start developing the thicker parts of the branches and tapering out, and then like this one's pretty good. Like in a couple years, I can't wait to see this one actually turn into its own little pad. I might have to start wiring it. Maybe get them to, well, that's a little bit, but maybe get them to pad up. Maybe they'll naturally pad a little bit. Wondering what this little branch is thinking. Looks like it's trying to climb up through, but it might be interrupting. I mean, it's good. It's got a lot of foliage for closing up the pad right now, but for making the whole tree one pad, yeah, maybe I'll leave it at like that for now. I think that one's done. Took a few branches off. Cut a few off there. somewhat of a triangular look to it. All